So now I will open a discussion. I will start it.
Takiej technicznej uwagi powiem, że mamy około 15
We've got
minut
about
na
15 minutes
wymianę
for the
myśli.
exchange of ideas.
Jeżeli chodzi o
As
inwestycje,
far as investments are
to Port
concerned,
Gdański, jak już
Port of
wspominałem,
Gdańsk, as
jest
I already
w czasie
mentioned,
największego
is
programu inwestycyjnego w historii.
being implementing the biggest investment program in history. Yesterday it was announced at the forum that the Polish government they took a decision on the construction of the central port, so that a new deep sea central port in the Gulf of Gdańsk. It's a technical decision, but the Port of Gdańsk will be responsible for it. It's a strategic flagship decision for both the Polish economy and the ambitions of the Port of Gdańsk, which exceed the region of Poland, and also, as in the case of ports invited here, also for the hinterland, so the Central and Eastern Europe. At the same time, within the framework of EU funds and CF program, we upgrade the quays in the old part of the port, but the marine administration improves the water access, and these are investments worth of about 300 million euro, and they need to be completed by 2020 due to the nature of agreements of this program. Another flagship investment is the preparation of feasibility studies for navigation of Vistula River. This is a water motorway that will lead to the center of the country and will connect with the river system of the Belarus in the future, which will connect the Baltic Sea with the Black Sea. At the same time, railway connections that are developed help to strengthen the Baltic-Adriatic corridor, and they improve the accessibility of the port in Gdańsk. The increase of the volume of new cars reloaded from the factories located in Slovakia and the Czech Republic is another aspect. It's been increasing greatly from 2016, and in 2018 we plan to double the volume of 100,000. So the port in Gdańsk is becoming an interesting car hub. So all the ports from the 16 countries develop, they compete, and they establish partnerships, as Patrick said, they increase their quality. So now I would like to ask Mr. Liang Xingqing whether from the Chinese perspective the seaports of 16+1 countries format constitute an interesting alternative for the developed ports of Western Europe, such as Hamburg, Antwerp or Rotterdam.
我是这样认为的。我是觉得，因为中国其实大家知道，过去几十年的发展很快，建了很多大型港口。现在超1吨的港口，据统计应该超过34个，就是吞吐量超1吨的港口。但是每个港口都根据自己腹地的情况和自己区位的情况有自己的分工。我觉得中东地区是“一带一路”的枢纽和关键地区，它不一定说非得说取代谁还是不取代谁，应该是发挥自己在这个区位中的作用，把自己的产能优势，包括自己的地理位置优势发挥出来，就能够实现这些自己的价值。另外一方面，我还想说。我们现在通过几十年的建设，现在有能力对港口进行改造和提升。现在很多港口更多的是大型化、专业化，港口的设备更多的是专业化、自动化，这些方面我们现在都有能力。包括上海洋山港4期，现在就是全自动化，包括美国的长滩码头也是全自动化的。像上海港的吞吐量，将会达到4000万标箱，所以通过一些升级改造，更好的把这些港口的这个能力，发挥出来，然后实现更好的服务和更优质的服务和更便宜的价格这方面发挥自己的作用，才是我们应该做的，我觉得。
Dziękuję. To oznacza, że
Thank you. That
potencjał
means
portów
that the
chińskich jest na
potential
tyle
of
duży,
Chinese ports
że
is
rozwój
big enough
portów
that the
formatu
development
krajów
of
16
16+1
pozwoli
format
zagospodarować
countries
ten
ports
wolumen.
will
A
allow to
zwracam się do pana
manage the volume.
Borutaczoka. A
Now
które
a
z
question to
inwestycji
Mr.
w
Boruchok. Which
porcie
investments
Koper
in the port of Koper
odpowiadają temu wyzwaniu
meet
intermodalności
this
i współpracy
challenge of intermodality and cooperation with the Chinese partner?
Hello. If I may have the presentation a little bit more. Okay. We'll need to switch quickly to. So basically, Copperport was making investments all the time. Just to showcase the recent achievements, this is what we are working on right now. This year we already completed 2 major investments. One is in liquid bulk chemicals, the second is multi-purpose warehouse for general cargo and bulk materials, loose materials. All of this is interconnected by rail. So again, looking forward for intermodality in practically every activity of the port we are doing today. We already made some investment this year in container terminal especially. Here it's a quick overview that recently we've been doing some dredging. Now we completely rebuilt the rail side of the terminal, upgrading the capacity there considerably and having a plan to further develop as needed in the future. And here you can also see that the areas of the container terminal that were earmarked for future development, and we have further things in mind. So this year, in short, I think this is a strong statement of our commitment to be ready for the future. 2 STS Super Post Panamax cranes were added this year. We completely rebuilt the rail operations, now featuring 3 very modern ERMG cranes. These are cranes specialized for rail operations. And we have considerably upgraded also the stacking yard capabilities, and we continue with upgrades in this regard. So the terminal shall keep coming up in terms of capacity also for the future. This also reflects, as the volumes are growing, that there is more and more rail operators calling at Copperport and also providing more services to existing destinations and opening services to new destinations. Let's say one of hot topics right now is connection between Koper and southern Germany, Bavaria region, let's say, is now being a very hot topic. And there is further destinations that are being developed. Talking about investments, we are about to start also a major investment in terms of upgrading storage facilities for cars, especially for those more expensive ones. And beyond Copperport itself, as we are growing, also the infrastructure around us needs to grow. So there will be investments in some road connections, let's say, or upgrades here too in the coming years. And right now, a bidding process started to start building the second rail track out of Copperport. Now, in these days, there will be opening of offers that were received in regards of preparatory works, and early next year there will be a major tender for some 30 kilometers of railway track, which will be mostly in tunnels and on the bridges. So it will be a nice chunk of investment that we are looking forward to have it realized in coming years. So thank you.
Dzięki. A które z tych inwestycji
And
w
which of
kontekście
the
jednego pasa, jednego
investments
szlaku
within the context of
dotyczą
one belt, one route relate
portu w
to
Rijece,
the
które
port
z
in Rijeka?
opisywanych już
Which
przez pana Patryka
of the ones described by
inwestycji
Patrick,
bezpośrednio wpływają
investments described by
na
Patrick
współpracę
already
z
have a
partnerem
direct
chińskim?
impact on the cooperation with the Chinese partner?
Yes, definitely. We have a business proposition that we want to present today to our CEEC and Chinese logistics and shipping partners. And we offer them the opportunity to discover and explore this opportunity. Here it is, under construction, a two-phased approach for design and build. The first phase will be developed a 400-meter quay wall with a CD, that means a charter draft of 20 meters, which is highly competitive solution, not only in the Adriatic, but on a world level scale. It's what we call best practice. We will have a yard of about 15 hectares. The number of ground slots will be around 2,000 TEUs, and the capacity 400,000 TEU. In the second phase, and that will be triggered in function of the demand, there's an extension potential to add another minimum 200,000 TEUs, another 500 TEU slots, and extension of the quay wall, because it's all about quay wall with 280 meters. It's about length of quay wall and draft, 20 meters. Here you see the construction works. This is reality. This is not phasing anymore. The design and build is now underway. Now, we clearly made a distinction in this whole approach between two steps. First of all, we separated the design and build, and thereafter we will introduce what we call the going to the market through public tendering for finding a concessioning partner. That's our approach. It's a caisson construction. I'm not going to go into the technical details, but it's happening. Two things I want to mention which are extremely important. It's all about a port on its own has no reality. How do we get a cargo into the hinterland and to Zagreb? There will be constructed a bypass that will give direct access to the highway, and there will be constructed a second, what we call marshalling yards, on site of the Zagreb container pier. The funding is available. It's a question of implementing. We talked about competition. There is not only competition in the CEEC port solutions, but also in the North Adriatic. We have our friends from Italy who are also very busy in the container business. And what we see here is a very clear message. All ports are thinking in terms of future extensions, planning. Draft is extremely important. Everybody has plans for draft. Our plans for extension and draft of 20 meters will be implemented, and it will be a unique business opportunity. We see here a potential for the Port of Rijeka, not only to secure the gateway and the transit cargo, but also transshipment cargo. This is our message of today. It's a unique business opportunity that will be operational in 21. Now, what is the second phase now? We will go to the market because we are looking for an operator. So I'm inviting all our shipping partners in the 16+1 to consider that opportunity. It will be a two-step approach. It will start very soon, but we think we will manage, and we will go for managing to get a signed contract for the concessioning party within 9 months' time. We need about 3 months to do kind of typical due diligence aspects. For example, an important one will be the interface between the design and build and the operator. And more important is that we will start with what we call a roadshow or a market consultation. The market consultation will be very important and will also give us good indication how to construct the concession contract. Then we go into the transaction phase, where we set up database, we develop our concession contract, and we'll do this whole transaction in one step. So normally you do this kind of what I would call public tenders in 2 steps: expression of interest and request for proposal. We decided that we will only go for 1-step approach. That means we will go for directly a request for proposal.
Patrick,
we are sure that
Patrick, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but we just have a very short time. And
I fully agree, and I apologize, but I think that's my message I wanted to pass. Thank you.
Przepraszam, natomiast czas nas goni, a chciałem
I'm
jeszcze
sorry,
dopytać pana
we're getting
Artura
out of time,
Strągilasa
and I would like
bardzo
to
krótko,
ask
jeżeli to
Mr.
możliwe,
Artur
które z tych
Strągilas
inwestycji,
which
które
of
widzieliśmy
these
na prezentacji,
investments that we've seen at the
są
presentation
ważne w kontekście
are
jednego pasa, jednego
important
szlaku.
within the context of one belt, one road.
Is it working?
Yes.
You know, I must apologize, Polish people, and especially developers of DCT terminal. I was one amongst many pessimists in the conference in 2006, when this conference was arranged about DCT, about its opportunities, because DCT was about to be completed. And I was among speakers who said many obstacles for DCT to become a direct call port from Far East. Today, I am taking my words back. But as you saw from my presentation, I learned from my mistakes. So we are building a similar structure. We are about to finish project, and we will invite also companies, not from all over the world, to participate as operators in this new facility in open sea. And we now are optimists, and we believe that on the example of Gdansk, we one day can attract direct calls from Far East, and those big mega ships, 22,000 TEUs capacity, can call one day Klaipėda too. So this is the main investment which we foresee in cooperation with One Belt, One Road initiative. Of course, those terminals which are today built, they are also highly sophisticated. One belongs to MSC, Mediterranean Shipping Company, through its company Terminal Investment Limited, and it's quite modern. But of course, if we want to be fully competitive, and as it was said today, we need to be fully competitive on not only on operational side, but also on infrastructural side too. So competition, we believe to raise against Gdansk port in the nearest future. Sorry to say that, being in Poland.
Myślę, że ta wypowiedź pokazuje, że
I think
czasami albo
that
często
this
głosy sceptyków
proves that very
nie są do
often
końca
what skeptics
zgodne z
say
prawdą.
does not
Chciałem,
reflect the
ale
reality.
dzięki za tę wypowiedź.
But thanks
Chciałem teraz
for what
poprosić panią
you've
Wang
said.
Song-wen,
Now I'd
która
like to ask
przysłuchuje
Ms.
się
Wang
uważnie,
Song-zen, who's been listening very
tym
carefully
inwestycjom i
and
na pewno z
who's
punktu
been
widzenia
following all the
operatora
investment very
te wszystkie
carefully, and from the
inwestycje
point
cieszą,
of view
dlatego
of
że
the
jest
operator,
większe
all the
pole manewru.
investment
Natomiast chciałem spytać o coś innego.
are a great opportunity for the companies. But my question is, One Belt, One Road, this initiative,
I'd like to ask the, okay, sorry, I can say it once again. So you can listen everything about these investments, different kind of ports, and all of them are huge and should be completed very soon in the perspective 2020, 2021. And it's probably from your perspective, it's good because it's a major scope of the possibilities in the Adriatic and Baltic Sea. However, I'd like to ask a slightly different question, because the initiative One Belt, One Road promotes the railway connection, direct connection between China and Central Europe, and how you perceive that impact of this railway connection to the investment in ports, whether those two different type of transport are competitive or supportive?
I think it's multi-implemental. It's not a competition. It's just we provide various different solutions to very different customers. For example, in the past, there are some cargo they would like to deliver in 2 to 3 days or less than 7 days. They choose air freight, but it's a very high cost. And for the shipping, it's almost the most economic and the green way to transport the cargo. And I think up to now, we still can say that about 85% of the cargoes are transported by ship. And now we have some train transportation. For this new mode, it's between the air and the sea, on the sea. So maybe it's quicker than the ship, but it's expensive. And we can see that for the ocean vessel, it's bigger and bigger. For example, in our Ocean Alliance, one of our vessels, which calling Gdansk, it's 19,000 TEU and 20,000 TEU. And for one vessel, we discharge the cargo. So this volume may be equal to the annual volume for one bulk train company. So I don't think it will have big impact to us. But I would like to say something because this forum is focused on the Central and East European. Most of them are inland countries. And for COSCO shipping, we set Paris as a south gateway to Central and East European countries, and set the Gdansk as a northern gateway. So for Poland is a hub in Baltic Sea. So after our mother vessel calling, we can see the volume in this year is tripled than the same period of last year. And we have a lot of attract some transshipment cargo. It's really good news for our port authority. But as a gateway or as a hub port, we would like to need the support of very completed network of road transportation or rail transportation. But right now, I think in Central and East European countries, it's a big obstacle for us. Not enough capacity, and sometimes the strike, accidents, so a lot of factors impact our service. So we hope that maybe in the future we can focus on some investment on this part.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this comment. So we can see that despite some concerns from the operators, the future of the seaports in Central Europe is quite bright. So last question, very last question, because we just run out of time, to Mr. Bojanic, Sedomir. So what's your view about how business can participate in development of seaports, how can support it?
Yeah, thank you. Well, of course, it's always the matter of business. We saw that the competition is running all around Europe. All business routes are trying to optimize the logistics, and I think the next future, let's say the close future of now will be to find the best solution combining intermodality. Already mentioned by Mrs. Wang that the volumes will not be enough. Let's say the capacity will not be enough for the volumes coming from China by rail. So I still am convinced that the solution by the sea will be the best one for the future. Of course, combining the investments in the infrastructure. Already mentioned, in Slovenia we started a kind of let's call it private-public partnership for the secondary track project. We will see how it will be developed, and maybe this public-private partnership for the future could be a solution for bigger or wider investments in the area of 16 plus 1 countries. So let's say from this point of view, I think business will be an important factor for the future development of logistics and infrastructure for logistics.
Thank you for this comment. So it means that this PPP initiative, the public-private partnership, can be the good vehicle for the engagement, the business and private funds to improve infrastructure and to gather more clients. Thank you very much for all information, all comments. Thank you for coming here. The CCC company, the COSCO company, the Port Rijeka, Port of Koper, Port of Klaipėda, and very modest Port of Gdańsk. Thank you very much.